When I get this real general stuff that I see, like, hey, Diddy took advantage of me at a party back in 1994. It's like, that's all you got for me? So I start to feel a little bit weird about stuff like that. Now, the men that are included in this case, I don't want to come off like a man can't be taken advantage of, but it's not something that the average man looks at as easily done, right? Now, women, y'all might have to take a back seat here for a second and understand, like, why isn't it just equal? Like, we can be hard, why can't y'all, right? Let's slow down for a second. I know that we've seen scenes, like many of us, I assume, were never involved in that, hopefully. So it's not like you can just testify to it from experience, right? You see scenes in movies, and then as a man, you understand your own physical anatomy, and then you have your physical ability as well, right? A woman being forcefully held down, being hurt, etc., and then being taken advantage of sexually, it's nowhere near the same of taking advantage of a man. Okay, it's nowhere near the same. The physicality behind the man, it's just a different ball game, right? And that's where I think all the allegations of the drugs come in, because when we hear about these people that are waking up the next day and they don't remember what happened, or were they slightly paralyzed, we heard allegations of like the horse tranquilizer used. So that's what would start to rationalize it for me. But some of the stuff that's just like, at gunpoint, which is within some of these filings that we're going to talk about, like at gunpoint, or the security guard told me to stay still while I gave, or Diddy gave me head, or something like that. It starts to get a little like, damn. And maybe it's just me. The moment that I be like, that could almost never happen to me, that's what makes me start to question some of the lawsuits, right? I'm gonna get a little bit graphic after I read some of these articles. I got a video to bring up here as well, especially when we get to Macy's. Yes, Macy's was a company or a corporation that was filed in one of these suits. Okay, of one of these six. Right. I'm gonna get a little bit graphic, and I'm gonna ask the chat a couple questions. I gotta take off some of my watered down for a podcast talk. I reserve a lot of words. I reserve a lot of questions. And there's times where I'm just like, let me not say this because it's a little sensitive at times. But I got to put it out there, especially when I'm making the point. I want to ask the questions. There's a majority of adults on this podcast. I'm watching the stats, right? I'm not talking to mostly children here 6 o'clock in the damn morning. So if this shit starts to get under your skin a little bit, then my apologies. But yo, we gotta go there. We gotta go there. We have to go there. All right, let's bring up this article, and I'm gonna read through some of this. Then I'm gonna bring up a video. Then I have some questions to ask out, and I also got some opinions that I want to put on the table about why some of this may be real or it may be bullshit. All right, let's get there. Let's get there. All right. Sean Diddy Combs accused of sexual assault in 6 new lawsuits, including one case involving alleged teenage victim. Ugh. Scary, scary, scary when we hear about the youngins, right? Scary, scary, scary. All right. At least half a dozen new lawsuits were filed Monday against musician and producer Sean Combs, accusing him of SA against men, women, and a 16-year-old boy. The suits were filed anonymously by John Doe and Jane Doe plaintiffs in federal court in the Southern District of New York. The lawsuits range in allegations that some instances include RSA and drugging of drinks. At least 2 of the alleged assaults took place at Combs' white parties between 1998 and 2006. All 6 plaintiffs are seeking compensatory and punitive damages, bread basically. The latest lawsuits are part of the expected wave of litigation against Combs by the Houston-based attorney Tony Busby and co-counsel Andrew Van Arsdale, first time I'm hearing that name, who previously said they were presenting at least 120 alleged victims of Combs, including minors. Now, let's be clear, as per all the articles for these 6 victims here, this isn't some like continued like, wait, what this come from? This is left field. This is part of the 120 from the Houston lawyer Tony Busby. Okay, I gotta stop here for a second. Here's my first question. Oh, and one other detail that we want to point out. when it's saying that this is coming from Tony Busby and co-counsel Andrew Van Arsdale, I'm going to interpret that. The only way, there's two ways I interpret that. When you hear co-counsel, either A, it literally is somebody that could be a part of like his law firm or that he's partnering with, um, and just to provide these legal defenses for uh, um, these 120 accusers that he claims that he's going to be submitting or filing. Or it could be that once again, he's Houston based. And like he said, that these are being filed within New York. So you have your legal boundaries, right? If I go past the bar exam and I'm based in Houston and I want to file a lawsuit in New York, I may have to work with somebody in New York that has, their credentials that allow them to perform their legal practices and be a lawyer within New York, right? So you have those type of collaborations as well. In any event, here's my first question. Tony Busby, right? When he came out initially, it kind of broke the internet, right? I was like, what? They're talking about like 25 of the 120 allegedly are minors. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Yeah, Diddy's going under the jail. And then we calm down, we take a step back. And when he did his follow-up interview after his press conference, I think it was his interview that he did with TMC. I didn't like some of the things that he was saying. I didn't like how he was backtracking. I didn't like how he was trying to, do placement of certain words and play chessboard with now the public, not just the alleged accused people that would be accused, right? He definitely was putting bait out there. He definitely was casting a net. He definitely was trying to scare some people out there into coming forward, whether they were witnesses or whether they were actually the doers in these situations, coming forward, right, and hopefully add on to his people that he's filing, and scare the crap out of them. Like, hey, we saw or we know, so come talk to us before we come talk to you, right? It was that type of vibe that he put out. And there's other details. We broke it down in a prior stream, that made me go a little bit like, this guy's representing this 120. We already know you got 120 people. There's going to be some money grabbing in there. It could be more than 60, 70% of money grabbing there. It could be 90% money grabbing in there for all we know, right? But all it takes is one victim, and we're going to say, Diddy, you a piece of shit. Some of us are already saying that. Okay. So let's be clear. All it takes is one, but of the 120, a lot of that or some of that is going to be capped. Now, here's my question. He teased by saying, I got these celebrity names that's going to be coming out and getting named within the first 30 days. Um, we got people that people that I know that I'm going to be coming out and speaking on, and he really, really put that out there tactically, but at the same time, it's expected because as we read through some of these situations, they're filled with witnesses, whether it's from the white parties or whether it's security guards that's telling people to stay still while you get awed. And you guys will get a little bit more details of that in a second, right? In some of these new 6 filings. But here's my thing. Don't you want to come out with guns blazing? Like, if I'm Tony Busby and I'm representing this 120, the first 6 that comes out that you're actually filing of the 120, I'm not saying that they're frivolous, but they seem a little shallow. They're the type of filings where you're going to say, like, prove it. It's just certain shit that's going to come out and we're going to say, oh, yeah, that seems to be on point, or that seems to be ugly, or that fits, that makes sense, that aligns. But when you come out and like some of the first filings are actually shallow, also they do not name any of these celebrities that you claim to be caught up in things. And then in addition, the big company that does get named, Macy's, right? That within itself is very shallow. When you guys hear about that, I think you guys are going to agree. And it almost feels like, all right, the inclusions to complement the people that you're filing within this 120, those inclusions are really just to try to give you a little bit of backing to it. Doesn't seem like full accounts, doesn't seem like witnesses, definitely ain't the celebrities. I start to be like, yo, not only of the 120 cap, but you're trying to also include additional cap to strengthen some of these filings, which is why they're all very short. You see what I'm saying? Like, you come out, I would expect the first time that we see your filings to be boom. The same way your press conference broke the internet. The same way you came out forcefully. The same way you came out putting the world on notice, scaring the shit out of everybody. And then these six filings go in, and it's just like uh, anybody with common sense is going to be like, I need to see more. So you're already, I feel like, just watering down your shit. You're just tainting your shit. We already know there's going to be a bunch of cap in there. Like, look at the Dahlia shit. And she's not with him. She's not with Tony Busby's filing. But look at Dahlia shit. The more time that passes with all these accusers and these people that are attempting money grabs and people that are coming out with claims, the more that shit that comes out between now and something major that is light, between now and May, between now and Diddy's trial, that's like, that's light. Oh, that's bullshit. Oh, she's over here damn near blackmailing her ex-boyfriend or the security guard, Big Joe, to come get down with this, and she'll pay you. All I need is a statement. All I need is you to back my claim and say that you was there, or you was in the room, or you saw this as well as I'll break you off. Oh, why am I going after Diddy? Because he's the one with the money, not because he's the one that argued me. Like, you know what I'm saying? The more and more that we see of this, I don't think that Diddy could ever get back to a place where it just goes 180, where people just do an about face and say, nope, I'm on the other side. I think it's too late for Diddy in that respect. But what can happen over time when we keep seeing this shit is like, you know what? I was all out on Diddy. I want to see him buried underneath the jail, to the point where people are going to be looking for leniency and say, like, oh, remember that one time that one girl came? And then people put together the conspiracy theory stuff. Like, this whole thing was one big attempt to take down the record industry, to take down hip hop, to take down a black mogul, to take down a successful black man. Even his lawyer, right, the one that did the first TMZ interview, the one that fucked up by saying the Costco shit, right? When he came out, like that was one of his positions, playing the race card. Like, this is an attempt to take a black man down. He played the race card early, right? And you're going to gain a lot of people on the side, because this whole court of public opinion is so important. I believe, once again, that's why the Cassie video came out. I believe that's why they said the exact number of 1,000 bottles of baby oil, and it's going to continue to get complimented in that sense. These little things that are put on the table are going to push the court of public opinion one way or another way. And you want to know what's included in court of public opinion? Jurors. These are people that are out here with eyes and ears, just like everybody else. They have internet access. They watch the news. They watch their favorite podcasts and radio shows. They hear updates. They see about new lawsuits, and they end up on the damn jury. And then it's just like, damn, I remember these 10 situations from Tony Busby that were complete bullshit, or these 20 that didn't have evidence, or these other 30 over here that seem shallow, or Thalia out here, Thalia, how we pronounce her name, out here blackmailing people for $3 million. Right? So if I'm representing 120 people, I'm coming out guns blazing. I'm coming out the gate in a way where I make you feel like, whether it's the first file, the first 6 files, or the first 10 files, the other guys are put on notice. I'm taking some of my strongest guys and I'm coming out public with that first. And when the public that I initially came out in my press conference with and I tried to scare, whether it's these witnesses or these other companies or these other artists or celebrities, when they see what I came out, the first filings, these first 6 people, when you see how strong that is, when you see how scary that is, when you see how legit that looks, anybody else now that I contact behind the scenes before I file you, you have a different feeling towards the shit. You now looking like, damn, that first 6, the one that over here that named Usher, and this one over here that had Ashton Kutcher there, and and when they named Macy's the first time, yeah, Macy's had to fold and they paid up. Oh yeah, oh, you calling me? Listen, I don't want to. What do I got to do? How much do I got to pay? I'm not coming out the gate weak, because now, even if I am guilty and you happen to come to me, if I'm the 30th filing and you happen to contact me, or if you don't contact me and you just file it, look at the way I get to sit. I get to sit like, do y'all really think that I did this? Do you really think that I'm guilty? Look at this proof. There's not, look what they did with the first 6 people that came out. That looks like BS. Look at that. Oh, you really want me to believe that this guy in the back stocking room at Macy's was awed at gunpoint by Diddy while he was on a promo run and he just slipped into the back? Like, you know, like, it's not tactically the way that I would assume a high powered lawyer would move. What? Let's continue this. Let's continue this. All right. The latest lawsuits were part of an expected wave of litigation against Combs by Houston-based attorney Tony Busby. All right, we read that part already. Mr. Combs and his legal team have full confidence in the facts, their legal defenses, the integrity of the judicial process. Combs' attorney told CNN in a statement, "The court, the truth will prevail." The Mr. Combs that Mr. Combs has never sexually SA'd anyone, adult or minor, man or woman. So that's where people like Diddy get hit, because it's like you took a similar position before that video came out about Cassie, and then the video came out and you had to apologize. Oh, yep, I lied. Yeah, you got me. My bad. All right. Alleged incidents at white parties. In one claim, Combs is alleged to have assaulted a 16-year-old male at a white party in the Hamptons in 1998. The claim states that Combs instructed John Doe to drop his pants and expose himself, explaining it was the rite of passage and a route to becoming a star, and also as a way to prove himself. Hmm. This accuser said he eventually recognized Combs essayed him by and through his power and influence over John Doe because he knew John Doe wanted to become a star. So we've heard that before. We're going to continue to hear more about that. That Diddy is using his power, he's using his position, he's taking advantage of men and women and minors allegedly that want to be in the music industry, want to be models, want to be musicians, want to be rappers, want to be singers, whatever the case may be, right? And I'm not trying to say that that's not common in this world. People abuse their power. If you watch last night's stream when we were talking about Kanye and how men love their toys, right? Another example of that is just the manager or the CEO or the VP that has his his desk assistant is beautiful and heavy chested and long beautiful hair, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of like is that abuse of your power? I mean, because you hired this person not necessarily based on their credentials and professional ability to complete the job, but just personal small preferences of eye candy that you want to see every day you walk in and out the office, right? The girl that you want to lean over your desk and pick up the pen and shit. You know what I mean? Like, all right, man, like really, like that's your secretary, like. And don't get me wrong, I'm not narrow minded, small minded. It was like, oh, there's no such thing as a beautiful secretary. There is, but then there's also those like, come on, son, like, right? But yeah, the 16-year-old being told to drop his pants. Um, at 16, you know where I was? Tell me to drop my pants when I'm 16. I'll punch you dead in your fucking face. I'll probably try to kill you right there on the spot. I thought I was a man by the time I was 16. I wasn't. But that's the mentality, that's the strength. That's where you're at 16. Like I have to remember for a second. I have to take a step back because I'm so old. When I hear like these teenage, I'm like, yo, those are kids. And when I say that those are kids, mentality wise, you definitely are. But you're not like the 7-year-old still learning right from wrong, right? Some of y'all weren't virgins at 16, right? Many of y'all probably wasn't, right? We was in high school, running around, acting crazy, chasing girls. But another man told me to drop my pants. Like we teach kids about avoiding these sexual predators and whatnot. Like you're under 5 learning that. Like what do you do if somebody pulls up on you on the street while you're walking home from school and tries to offer you some candy? Like, yo, I'm taking flight and I'm screaming. By the time I'm 16, by the time I'm 16, yo, drop your pants. Like, that's only happening if I want to. You know what I'm saying? Like this one right here isn't saying that it was forceful. Right? Now, if it was forceful, a grown ass man or him and his security guard ran down on a 16-year-old at a white party, and I don't know. That right there to me is I'm just putting myself in those shoes. Now, I know everybody's different. I know everybody is different. You got people out there that mentally, physically, they're way weaker than others. Not everybody is the same. But me at 16, let you be a man telling me to drop my pants. See what would have happened. I beat the shit out of this guy. I put everything I could on the table to beat the shit out of this guy. You couldn't do that to me at 16. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm gonna go past that one. Let's go to the next one. This one I want to get into. Alleged assault at Macy's. Once again, a big company being named. These are also, I feel like, the type of companies where if they get wrapped up in something this large, if they get like, you see why Costco came out and said we don't sell baby oil. That wasn't a joke for them. That wasn't like, hey, let's just join in on this big old narrative that's going around about Diddy and what they found when they raided his crib. That was also like a legal thing position. That was smart to do and just come out and just say, let's get out of here. Like, I don't want anything to do with this. We don't even sell the shit. Beat it. Go that away. Okay. Whether there was initially people thought liability or not, because you never know. People come up with frivolous shit. Oh, I blame you that I got AR'd because you're not supposed to sell that much baby oil at one time. Like somebody would probably claim that shit. Like people are crazy with the type of shit that they would put on in lawsuits. But Costco came out quick. Macy's, huge money, 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 money on the table. If you can get a company like that name or that size or that stature included in some of these people's claims, now you start to position yourself for somebody to settle out, make this go away. Whether it comes from Diddy or whether it comes from Macy's, you might find what you're looking for, which is bread. You might find it quick. Macy's might say, we don't even want our name associated with this shit. Go away. Here's $500,000. Right. So, all right. Alleged assault at Macy's. In a lawsuit against Combs, his businesses, and the retailer Macy's, a John Doe, so a man again, claims he was hit and sexually assaulted or essayed, my bad, YouTube, when he ran into Combs and his two bodyguards inside a stockroom of the chain's flagship department store in New York in 2008. So 2008 was that 12, 16 years ago? Combs approached plaintiff while plaintiff was still on his hands and knees, according to the lawsuit, when Combs forced him to perform oral sex. I gotta stop there for a second. This is where we get a little graphic. I know that we're in a very homophobic world. Can't say anything. Everything is no Diddy and pause and all of that, people. But I just got to use the words. I gotta say it. That's another thing I don't really believe in. Like I know where I was at when I was 16. I don't even be thinking that a man wants to force another man to give him head. Like if even the thought, it's hard. It's horror to me. Like you could lose your shit in a split second. Everybody knows what I'm saying right here, right? Like even the thought, I I would never. I'm heterosexual. I'm talking about women. I would never want a woman to give me head if she didn't want to give me head. You know what I'm saying? Now, let alone if you're trying to force somebody into a sexual situation, I would want to assume like any man would be scared. Diddy too. Like, like you should be scared of that. Like, I ain't put my dick in nobody's mouth that don't want it to be there. Man, like, are you crazy? Are you fucking nuts? Like women, you don't walk around with one, so maybe it don't make your skin crawl the way it makes mine. Like that shit is like, oh, like woo, like we get a feeling, a chills that runs through our body just from like if a woman said, "Yo, I'm gonna kick you in your nuts," like joking or whatever. Like we get a chill that runs through our body, like oh, whoa, like because you know what that feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you force somebody? What movie was it? Was it American History X? No, it was Shawshank Redemption. Remember in Shawshank Redemption, the main character, the guys was trying to, rape or Arum, and he was like, "Yo, anything that goes in there is being lost." And he was like, "Yo, I'll stab you in the head." You know what I'm saying? He was like, "Well, you stab me or whatever, but that's gonna force my body to lock up, including my jaw, and bite down hard. And I won't even be able to open my mouth back unless like you pry it open before. It's like this is science. This is like the physical how the body reacts." They thought about it and said, It ain't won't be no head for us today. And they just beat the shit out of him. Right? He threatened them like, oh, you try to arm, you try to force me to do that. All right, watch what's gonna happen. And it's just like, yo, dude, here's the second thing about it. Here's the second part about this whole Macy's thing. You're trying to convince me that Diddy's there handling business, right? And then he goes into the stock room with two security guards, and he forces one down on his knees, or he was already down on his knees, or said like as if he was working, and he's like, "Yo, give me a head," or force. At this point, I think a lot of people think that Diddy's a monster. He definitely done did some shit, but there's a piece of this that will always make me scratch my head. I know people have mental problems. I know people could be like overly freaky to the point where they do shit. That's how I want to assume sometimes even these rapists or whatever they come about, right? Diddy functions with a lot of, what's the word, normality. That's how he's become so successful. That's how he's rubbed so many shoulders. That's how he's been around so many people. That's how he's been with so many women consensually, the Jennifer Lopez's and all this other world. I mean, look at the dates of some of this stuff. It's going back to the 90s, right? And there's always going to be that element there that makes me question and say, yeah, Diddy, if you got all this power, all this money, all this access to women, are you that fucking nutty that while you're on the scene handling business, you're gonna force your way into the back of a stock room allegedly with your two bodyguards and force this other guy to get on his knees and give you head at gunpoint or something? All you gotta do is wait 10 minutes, make a call, or you could probably you did it. You could make a call to 100 girls in New York and have somebody meet you at Macy's, like, or possibly Ben if that's his thing. I don't know, everybody thinks that he's bisexual at this point. Like, I just don't understand what, because he obviously over all these years would moved in a way to garner success. So he understands he's not that. You're not going to convince me that all of a sudden Diddy belongs in a straitjacket, right? I think his mind is intact. That's why when we see him on camera, when we see him getting the key to New York and all this shit, his mind is intact. Okay. So he's able to throw all that away for these quick moments in the back of a stocking room at Macy's to force some young guy to give him head with his security guards. He's willing to throw all that away. And even this level of witness is like, it's like these witnesses can walk around without these stories coming out. You don't tell somebody, like, there should be 1,000 Gene deals if you're doing this for 20 years. It should be 1,000 Gene, like Jaguar Wright is Jaguar Wright. Like, let her nutty ass be what she is. But Gene Deal's a guy that was like around. I think some of his shit is real and some of his shit is right. But he at least was around. There should be 100 of these people over the last 20 years that were actually there. And this type of stuff wouldn't need Diddy to get locked up or these lawsuits from Tony Busby to be coming out. Because this is like, yo, remember back in 1998 when we was back in the stock room and Diddy forced that guy to give him a head at Macy's? Like, it's those two elements. Well, it's the three elements. Number one, forcing a man to give you head. That's just, it's not easy for me to envision or believe, right? If it's done at gunpoint and you feel like this is what I'm going to do to save my life, and that's your position, then okay, so maybe I can almost understand where that person's coming from. He's like, yo, I did it to save my life. Oh, okay. Like, if that's what I got to do to get past that first one. Okay. The second one is the amount of access that Diddy has. And then you just say that he's willing to be that reckless. I can call 100 women right now. Instead, I want to go into this back room and force this guy to give me a head at my place of business. And then the third factor is, like, if you're that reckless and you have that many witnesses around that's doing this type of stuff, why does it come out when he's finally indicted in jail 25 years later, 20 years later? These are the type of things that always make me scratch my head and say, Ah, ah, ah. Ah. Like it's like damn, but all right. I know y'all with me though. Let's go. All right. Combs approached plaintiff while plaintiff was still on his hands and knees, according to the lawsuit, when Combs forced him to perform oral sex. After he was finished, Combs threw plaintiff's head aside and said the words to the effect of, "Shut up or I'll kill you," according to the lawsuit. Okay. Doe said he reported the alleged assault to Macy security, who he alleges did not investigate. 3 weeks after the alleged assault, John Doe claims Macy's pressured executives to fire him because the retailer signed a multi-million deal with Sean John Clothing. Doe is seeking compensatory and punitive damages. CNN has reached out to Macy's for comment. That is tough for me to like. That's tough. Put it this way. That's so tough for me to just fully just believe off rip that it's like that's of the level where it's like if that's true, Macy's, like people's gonna riot against you. It's gonna be like what they did to H&M. Was it H&M? They did it to Gucci too. Like some of y'all stores got torn up or whatever because you put out some piece of clothes that was like offensive and whatnot. Like, hold on. You're telling me that you went to Macy's security and they pushed you to the side because they had to deal with like Macy's? Like this is a when you get in corporate America and you talk about just verbal assault, Macy's, corporate America, if you walk into HR or if you walk up to another employee or if you walk up to a manager and say, "This person told me to go fuck off," it's it's treated seriously. It's investigated. There's interviews. There's documentation. There's write ups. It's serious. You're trying to tell me that you went to Macy's, right? And even if we try to play like split hairs there and say, no, he's just saying that he went to the security guard that worked for Macy's and the security guard disregarded him. Okay. The reason why, if you try to split that hair and make me think that route, and that's why it never went anywhere and it just died there. If you're going to tell me that this guy forced you to give him head while you were working, you were totally violated. You're trying to say that you went to the security guard, nothing happened, and you stopped there. You didn't do nothing else after that. You didn't speak to your boss. You didn't walk back into HR. You didn't tell somebody else. You didn't go to the cops. You didn't because if you are a money grabbing person, you could have just got it there right there on the spot for Macy's, let alone Diddy 20 years later. You know what I'm saying? Like you went to Macy's and Macy's did nothing? 3 weeks after the alleged assault, Doe claims Macy's pressured executives. Then you want to tell me that not only did Macy's do nothing, corporate America, when you went there with a major incident and allegation, but not only did they not move a muscle, corporate America, I'm gonna keep saying it, but then they forcefully fired you behind it because do you know how much trouble Macy's would get in behind that type of shit? Why what? That's not easy for me to believe, y'all. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm telling you, the Macy's one to me, that when I read that I was like, huh? All right. All right. It's just a lot of pieces there that just eh. Two allegations are in another complaint, a 19-year-old college student identified as Jane Doe said she and a female friend were invited to a photo shoot and the exclusive after party of Combs Hotel in 2004, 20 years ago. Okay. According to the complaint, Combs became more aggressive and ordered Miss Doe's friends to perform oral sex on him, or else he would have them both killed. Once again, with the forceful head. I'm Diddy would be super monster level. I'm not forcing my dick in no woman mouth. The thought of losing my dick is like I said, if you threaten a man like I'm gonna kick you in the nuts. It sends quivers up our spine. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't gonna try to act like I know, how these situations forcefully go down or nothing like that. It's just as a man, I'm just assuming that if you trying to are a woman, it's about vaginal or anal intercourse, right? Like ladies, what's gonna happen if a man all right, I said I was gonna get a tiny bit more graphic, just a tiny bit. I ain't trying to paint no Steven Spielberg scene. But ladies, if a man is overpowering you, I could always understand a man overpowering a woman, right? If a man is overpowering you, or if he's hitting on you or beating on you, and it gets to the point where it's just like, I lost this fight, and he takes your body in that respect, right? Do you put that on the same level of possibility for you if you are going through that wild situation? If a man puts his dick in your mouth, if a man is forcing himself on you and his dick goes in your mouth, ladies, situation over, right? That's why I say it's just like you made a man, you forced a man to give you like Shawshank Redemption, man. Nigga, men ain't doing that shit. Or, or Diddy is just that crazy. All right, all right. Another female plaintiff alleges that after meeting Combs at a music video party or after party in 1995, he unexpectedly began kissing her, feeling uncomfortable and confused. You felt confused? You knew it. Shut up. Plaintiff asked him to slow down, believing they were there to talk. There to talk. All right. The suit states. Instead, Combs advanced aggressively. When Jane Doe attempted to pull away, Combs violently struck her, slamming her head against the wall and causing her to fall to the floor, and then awed her accordingly to the suit. More logical than the prior ones that we read. Definitely more logical. If you notice, they're all like super overly compromised scenarios. Like gunpoint, or the security guards were there, or I was drugged and I couldn't move my body, or I woke up and I didn't know nothing, or slammed my head against the wall. Right? I mean, uh, medical report, police report, something. Like he slammed your head up against the wall. Pictures, something. Tony Busby. We already know you a money grabbing guy. We know what's up with you, Tony Busby. Okay, this is your first six of the 120. You coming out guns firing, huh? The big guns. This is your big guns. All right, all right, all right, all right. Alleged essay by Combs and at least two other men. One of the complaints from John Doe states that in 2021, so this is recent, this is 3 years ago, he attended a party at Combs' residence in New York where he was served and consumed an alcoholic beverage. Obviously, that's what happens at parties. The effects of the drinks were immediate and overwhelming, the complaint states. Doe states he became disoriented and attempted to remove himself from the situation. He next remembered being in a bedroom, and despite being vaguely aware of his surroundings, he could not move, speak, or fight back. Plaintiff was paralyzed, feeling as if he was trapped in his own body. The complaint states he distinctly recalls seeing Combs above him. I'm gonna stop right there. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. It's possible, people, right? It's possible to be drugged. It's possible to have some of that paralyzing type of stuff. It's just the convenience factor. The convenience factor. So you don't know how you got to the room. The effects of the drink were immediate and overwhelming. Those states he became disoriented and attempted to remove himself from the situation. So what, you got up and fell or something like that? He next remembered being in a bedroom, so he doesn't know how he got to the bedroom. Despite being vaguely aware of his surroundings, I think this is a bedroom. I don't know how I got here, but I got here. I don't. Were you carried? Were you dragged? Did you walk yourself? Vaguely aware of his surroundings, he could not move, speak, or fight back. Couldn't move, speak, or fight back. So you got some wild, that's not liquor to me. All right. That's a drug from what you're claiming to me. Plaintiff was paralyzed, feeling as if he was trapped in his own body. It's like the movie Get Out type shit. Like he must have been like in like that parallel universe type of situation is what he's saying. And that's real. That's real. But he distinctly recalls seeing Combs above him naked at one point during the assault. During this time, plaintiff was sodomized by at least 3 men. By at least 3 men. You recognize any of the other two? Got any names, faces? Definitely remember Diddy. Definitely gonna remember the cash cow. I definitely remember. I know Diddy was there. I know. As we read all 6 of these, like I said, this whole like let's if I'm Diddy's defense attorney, there's holes in all 6. That if we could sit here and say, yo, what about the police report? What about the pictures? What about your injuries? What about a medical report? Really? A man forced his dick in your mouth and that shit wasn't lost? Really? You just woke up and then you couldn't move, but you realized one person in the room that you did know was Diddy. Oh, really? You was there and you didn't know that the drinks was because of his partying or like it's just so many like little small details in these filings that make you say, "Eh, the Macy's one kills me the most." You're gonna tell me that you went to Macy's. Not only did they not do anything or react as a corporate America, a huge billion-dollar company and corporation, but also they then fired you forcefully, just fired you behind it. Like, oh no, you came to us with a claim against Diddy, and we got this Sean John deal with them. Did you say Diddy fired? Like that would have been a lawsuit towards Macy's then. Then that's huge. You would have gotten more money out of that situation from Macy's than you would from Diddy. Right. Well, now you got Macy's in it. I don't know if Tony Busby is going after Macy's as well. Maybe, like we said, looking for a settlement from Macy's. Hey, you got a company to name alongside one of the accusers, right? So you got another option to get some bread out of it. I want to continue to say, people, all it takes is one. I don't think that Diddy's clean. I do think that he did some dirty stuff in his 20 years, 20 plus years of this industry powerful mogul that seems to be a little bit out there with how he moves. But once you try to take me into the twilight zone of some of this shit, just because it makes headlines, just because he's in jail right now, just because we saw the Cassie video, I'm not going to automatically turn all that stuff true. There's a lot of cap in these 120 people. That Macy's one, man, like I just can't get past that. That Macy's one is fucking killing me. That Macy's one is killing me, y'all.
Macy's accused of covering up Diddy assault. Department store Macy's is at the center of one of the 6 new accusations brought forth against Sean Diddy Combs. Macy's has been accused of covering up the alleged 2008 backroom assault by Combs at its flagship store in Manhattan.
4 of the 6 were filed by men, including one who was allegedly assaulted at Macy's flagship store in 2008.
The lawsuit claims Combs forced a man to perform indecent acts on him following physical assaults from Combs's bodyguards. The lawsuit alleges that Macy's, quote, covered up the incident to protect its multi-million-dollar partnership with Combs's clothing brand Sean John. The plaintiff, who worked for Combs's clothing competitor Echo Unlimited, states that his life was also threatened through verbal intimidation. After the incident, Combs allegedly distributed merchandise to fans as though nothing had happened. The man says he reported the assault to Macy's security, but claims no follow-up occurred. The lawsuit goes on to further claim that 3 weeks later, Macy's CEO Terry Lundgren pressured Echo executives to fire the plaintiff due to the new deal with Combs's brand. The plaintiff was fired and subsequently lost his company-provided apartment. He believes that his report of the assault was, quote, purged from Macy's records.
Obviously, I mean, it's an incredibly troubling allegation, and the rest of the allegations are very similar.
Cassie video a government leak?
Where Diddy claims he's been
My bad. I had it on mute for a second. So he went back out as if nothing happened. You know, that the echo competition and all that. It's tough, y'all. It's just tough. That's not easy for me. Ethan Johnson, appreciate the super, says being awake during an ARP live is crazy early. Yeah, this one we started at about 6:10 a.m. EST. So there'll be a lot of lives that I do early in the morning. I will be on certain afternoons and certain evenings as well, depending on what's going on, especially if I got a guest. Ain't no guest joining me at 6 o'clock in the morning. So, but yeah. Little Monster 609 BCZU says, keep moving the culture forward. I appreciate that, Little Monster. Yeah, we here. Sorry, it's true, man. We ain't going nowhere. Queen, what up? Queen became a member. Shout out to you, Queen. Appreciate you. Been rocking with the channel, supporting the kid for a minute now. I appreciate you, love, for sure. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. We'll be back ASAP. But yeah, some of this stuff is I don't know, man. Tactically, Tony Busby, if this is how you come outside to start off your 120 filings, you're gonna start to turn a lot of fans against your accusers. It's just too much cap in y'all rap.